Can accountants give financial advice? Well, what they can and they can't do, I'm going to talk about in this video right now. So you might have been meeting with your accountant recently and you're probably wondering, can they give me financial advice beyond just taxes? Can they tell me like what to do with investments? Can they tell me what to do with really anything other than with my money? Well, I want to kind of dig into that because there are some things that they should tell you, but there's a lot of things they should not be telling you. And it's a very fine line. So let's talk about that right now. First and foremost, CPAs, or accountants as they are not financial advisors. Now, they can give you tax advice all day long. That is what they're licensed to do. Now, just understand, there's a difference between CPAs, enrolled agents, accountants. For example, CPAs, they're kind of like the higher echelon of what people consider as being accountants, right? Like when you have a CPA, sometimes it's just like, ooh, I've got a CPA. Wow. I just paid them a couple $1,000. I'm pretty awesome. They can do a lot of stuff. They can actually help you with audits and whatnot, and they tend to be a little bit more qualified in certain things, almost like a certified financial planner, but these are guys more CPAs. Now, beyond the certified public accountant, you got enrolled agents or EAs. EAs are a little bit less on the totem pole there. They are actually more, they can represent you in case of an audit, but they're really just more of a tax preparer. Then of course you have normal accountants that can prepare your taxes and do all those things. Now, even if someone's a CPA, even if it seems like they're more qualified to tell you certain things, beyond the tax consequence, they really cannot give you financial advice. Now, I will give you a warning. There are a few people out there that are CPAs, and then they're also licensed as financial advisors. Can they legally give you financial advice? Yes, they can. Should they? Well, that's debatable, because here's the problem. When you try to find an expertise, right? If you're trying to be a CPA, and there's a lot of licensing that goes with that, there's a lot of continuing education, but at the same time, there's also continuing education on the financial advisor side. You start to wonder like, wait a minute, am I really getting all the advice I should be getting? Is this person just a jack of all trades but expert at none? Well, that's exactly the problem, right? They are the jack of all trades. And what I've noticed a lot of times is when you get those kind of CPAs that have also financial advisor licenses, sometimes I even see them becoming attorneys too. So they're like, hey, I can be your estate planning attorney and your CPA and your financial advisor. They are the stereotypical jack of all trades, but expert at none of them. So do not do that. If I'm going to go for a good accountant, I'm going to go for somebody that actually has like real depth of knowledge in that area. I want them to be able to know that when there's tax law changes and everything going on, they can actually maneuver and be able to give me that perfect advice. Maybe it's not perfect, but at least great advice or timely advice when it happens. So just be aware of that. So when it comes to investing, what you'll see with accountants and CPAs is yes, they'll go ahead and try to tell you, if you put money into an IRA or a 401k, you get a tax deduction. They can tell you that. But what they can't tell you is saying you should get an IRA or 401k. And I'll just tell you as a little bonus here, as a bonus tip, when I look at who's a good accountant or CPA for my situation, I'll ask them, hey, what do you think about IRAs and 401ks? Now, the ideal answer they'll say is, well, it depends on the situation. They can be good, but they may not be great in all situations. But then there's other accountants that say, oh, I love them. I think everybody should do an IRA or 401k. Those guys, I stay away from. I do not give them the time of day because the truth is, especially if they tell me I'm going to save taxes with IRAs and 401ks, is a bold-faced lie. They know it. I know it because the truth is that when you put money in IRAs and 401ks, sure, you get the tax deduction that year, but guess what? Down the road, you have to pay taxes at some point. Whenever you take that money out, you've got to pay taxes. And the truth is, do I trust that taxes are going to go down in the future? No. So when I get accountants that start telling me, hey, you should get IRAs and 401ks, I avoid them. I definitely do not hire those people. Again, I'm looking for somebody who wants to give me the good tax advice, tax strategy, but not investment strategies. That's what you use financial advisors for, or some kind of professional, someone that can help you with that. That's what's meant for when it comes to financial advice. Now, there might be some borderline stuff like, how do you go about paying off debt, right? They might have their own advice, and the truth is, just about anybody can tell you how to pay off debt or how to budget your money or whatever, and that's fine. That's great. Just be aware when it comes to certain investments, especially if it's stock market investments, mutual funds, things like that, they are not licensed, for the most part, they're not licensed to give you that kind of advice. And if they are licensed to give you that advice, like I said, they may not be that good at giving advice. So just be aware when it comes to financial advice, they can give some when it comes to like budgeting, they even like debt and whatever it might be. When it comes to the management of your money, tax savings is really going to be their specialty, not investments. All right, so what do you look for in a good accountant? So a good accountant should not just be someone who takes your numbers and tells you, here's your tax bill. That's what passive accountants do. You ever notice passive accountants? They're the ones that you just get to the end of the tax year, you're into the new year now, and then you're reporting all your numbers. They just ask for your numbers, you give it to them, they give you the tax bill, and that's it. Those are, in my opinion, one of the worst accountants you could possibly have. The best ones are proactive, not passive. I like passive income, but I don't like passive accountants, right? Proactive accountants are better. They're the ones that say, hey, it's May, it's June. We need to be strategizing for this year. Like, what can we be doing right now to ensure that you're getting the max tax write-offs this year? This is especially true when you're a business owner. Now, if you're a W-2 employee, there may not be much you can do. That you're really limited, right? You've really got donations, you've got mortgage interest, maybe student loan interest if you have student loans, you've got children and things like that. But you're not really going to be able to do much unless you've got a side hustle. But the truth is, you're probably not wanting to have a really great accountant if you're just working a W-2 job and that's all you have. If you have more complexity, maybe you have investments going on, passive investments, real estate investments or whatnot, especially then, you want to have an accountant that actually has some experience with real estate investing. I know some great accountants that are perfect, really good if you're a business owner. But if you start going to the real estate professional status, not so much. There's a difference, right? There's different rules, there's different guidelines, there's different strategies that can be implemented, and you want to make sure they know about this stuff. I've even had some accountants that don't understand the tax benefits of oil and gas investing. So as a result, they don't know what to do. If you have oil and gas investments like I do, I have some oil and gas investments, I want to make sure that my accountant knows what they're talking about. So find somebody who's actually had experience doing those things. Even better if they specialize in those areas. So I love getting tax accountants that understand and really know real estate investments. They understand what the real estate investment, the tax consequences are. I also want them to know about business because I'm a business owner. So I want to know all the strategies I can use and employ to ensure that I minimize my taxes. Yes, I'll still pay a good load of taxes, maybe more than a lot of you watching this video right now, but I love that I can minimize it so I can keep a higher percentage in my cash flow. Furthermore, what else do I want when an accountant? I want to know, of course, that they are going to be proactive. They're going to be easier to reach. I don't expect them to reply same day, but I would at least like a response within a few days. That would be good. So somebody who communicates with you. Someone who doesn't just say, no, you can't do that. Instead, if I ask, well, is there a way I can write off taxes this way? They're going to come back and say, well, typically you can't do it this way, but let's see if we can find a way to make it work. Let's see if we can find a legitimate, legal way to make it work this way. I also like accountants that don't like to take, unnecessary risks. Now, I will tell you this, if you ever get a conservative accountant that says they're conservative, right? And then what that usually means they're ignorant. They don't understand tax laws. They don't understand where the line really is. So they stay as far back from the line as possible, even though that's costing you more tax money. They still get paid, but you don't. You actually lose that ability to write off more in taxes. So I like to know somebody who's actually really well versed in the tax law. They want to know exactly what the IRS guidelines are. Yes, there are some gray areas in the IRS code. Of course there is. But for the most part, there's a lot of areas that are very black and white. For example, I've had people come back to me and say, hey, Chris, you know how you talk about that Augusta rule, which is a legitimate strategy? It's actually a tax strategy you can use. By the way, it's not called the Augusta rule in the tax code. I think it's 410A, if I recall the numbers, whatever it is. In that rule, you can actually pay for the use of your house up to 14 days. You can rent out your house up to 14 days, but no more. If you do it 14 days or less, you actually can have that money coming to you income tax free. That also means if your business pays for it, your business gets a write-off, but you don't pay for that income. Now, this is a strategy that, 12 plus years ago when I first heard about it, that was a strategy that I was like, wow, that's blowing my mind. However, what's interesting is that there's accountants still to this day saying, no, you can't do that. No, that's not possible. And so those people come back, they say, yeah, my accountant says you can't do that. That's not legal. I said, well, here's the tax code. Tell them to go research it for once, right? If you have an accountant that doesn't even know what to do and they just say, no, I've never heard of it, must not be good. Well, then you've got a crappy accountant. Then you got an accountant that doesn't even want to learn new things and they're not even staying up with the things that are changing and things that are actually legitimate. And that just costs you money, not them. They still get paid, but you don't. So be very aware. Get somebody who's more a proactive accountant, somebody who actually does want to plan with you ahead of time before it comes to time to pay your tax bill. Someone actually says, let's strategize. Let's see how we can make this work to minimize your tax burden so that you get to keep more of your money. And then when you keep more of your money, if you're a business owner, you can go invest more in your business to make more money, employ more people, essentially create a stronger economy. Or if you're an investor, make more money and create more passive income faster and accelerate your progress rather than slow it down. And that's one thing I think is amazing is that we had a client that came to us just for the real estate investing aspect, trying to create passive income. They're thinking about cashing out their stocks. But what ended up happening is we realized, one, we could redo your money. We gave them some more financial advice, like, hey, we could actually have you refinance your house, pay off a bunch of debt, free up $3,800 a month. Guys, that's like over 45 grand a year. But on top of that, we sent them to a CPA because we said, you're a business owner, there might be some things you're missing. Found out they were overpaying by about $30,000 or $40,000 a year, that they were overpaying in taxes with their other accountant. Guys, already without even investing a dime, they're freeing up about $80,000 a year, somewhere between $70,000 and $80,000 a year. That's incredible, right? And so as a result, I said, man, now we got all this cash flow, now we got more to invest. And by the way, you still have the money you're gonna invest anyways, but now we can just get to your goals faster. And so remember, CPAs don't give you good investment advice. They can give you general financial advice, budgeting and things like that, but for the most part, let them stay in their lane. Let them stay focused on what they do best, which are taxes. That's where they should best be played in. All right, now if you are looking for good financial advice, that's where you go to somebody who actually is, what I say, been there, done that, and still doing it today. Someone who actually has gotten to the place you want to go. Financial advisors can't retire themselves based on the investments. That's something I've seen true time and time again. I would say probably 99.9% of financial advisors do not have the ability to be able to retire off the advice they've been giving you unless they had the money coming for the commission they earn from you. But there are some of those like myself who was able to do it not just once, but I did it twice because I screwed up the first time. So I had to do it again, still able to replicate that again. And so if you want to figure out like what's the financial advice that does actually work, click on this video right now just to go deeper down this rabbit hole to see what can actually create financial independence for you right now.